Hi, guys.
Hello.
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 Since we last recorded, I remembered how I started all my episodes of Dungeon Dive Bar so I could emulate it. Because I went and listened to an episode because I was remembering the recording process of it. However, I will skip the requisite banter to get right into the show because this isn't my show. This is your show. I'm just a guest master of ceremonies. And a dog.
Well, this is doubly not my show.
No. Who are you again? Shameless plug.
Hi. I'm Jeff from the Astronomica podcast. You can find out all our information on astronomicapodcast.com. It's a sci-fi actual play.
And I am the first of your Sams from Dungeon Dive Bar, an Emerald Spire Super Dungeon actual play of Pathfinder 1st Edition. Here's the other Sam.
I'm the second of your Sams. You may have heard me from this podcast, usually. I'm also here. I didn't leave.
Can you leave?
It's unclear. I've tried several times and I've never made it beyond the corner out that way. But that doesn't mean it can't happen. Just it hasn't happened yet.
Just like Sam Reich, you've been here the whole time.
And our last member is someone who also can't leave. Jero.
Hello. I have been in this Discord for 2 weeks since the last time we recorded. It just will not let me close it.
And also joining us is Hopper, my dog. But he's being quiet because I'm holding him like a small child. Right, Hopper? Oh, he did a little big yawn, and now he's falling asleep on my hand.
You didn't need a hand to run a game, did you?
I just need the one to scroll through the PDF. I don't have to roll a single die or do any actual things. I just get to say words at you, and you guys get to roll dice and swear about it.
Awesome.
Do we have to use period-appropriate swears?
That would probably be good.
I should
Probably
look up
be
a
best.
list of period-appropriate swears.
Forsooth, God's beard.
And speaking of guns we found, let's talk about your guns. And by guns, I mean your characters, as a brief reminder for the audience of Her Majesty's Retrievers. So, Jerome.
To be fair, one of them does actually have a gun.
One of them does have a gun. It's you. Talk about your gun.
Yes. I am playing Arsène Lupin, also known as Arsène Lupin, the quadrennial champion of the worst French accent in the Commonwealth competition. And he is a gentleman firefighter who definitely does not steal things and then burn the houses down to hide the evidence and then come by with his fire wagon and put the fire out for money. He is a devoted servant of the crown. He has a sanguine temperament and is with a serene personality on top of that, represented by air and spring. His henshin device is a transforming gauntlet, and his weapon is a musket, and he is represented by the color maroon. Arsène's confidant is Siren, the gentlewoman cat burglar thief, and his rival is the meddling detective Aquas Dupin.
Excellent, excellent. This is our Maroon Ranger. Our Maroon Retriever. Let's move on to our other Red Retriever. Jeff?
I'm playing Cal G. Liostro, also of the sanguine temperament, jaunty subtype. My station is the Hussar, which means I roll a d8. My color is carmine, and my gun is a crossbow. My henshin device is my natty bow tie, my carmine bow tie that I adjust to a rakish angle when I want to transform into a rickshaw, which is my machina, which I've named the Journey of 1,000 Steps. Let's see. My element is air. My season is spring. My confidant is Frederica Mom Mandelbaum, the queen of the con artists. And my rival is A.J. Raffles, gentleman thief.
And lastly, the only one without a real gun.
That would be Pennington J. Farthing, of course, who is a bicycling enthusiast. Just had one of those newfangled velocipedes brought over from the continent, which is very exciting. So my machina is actually a velocipede, not to be confused with a bicycle in that it has no pedals and is thus substantially more ridiculous. My color is, of course, gold. I am the golden retriever. My weapon is the tonfa. My temperament somehow is both choleric and pleasant. That's going to be a challenge.
This is a serious game for serious gamers.
I, of course, use my riding goggles to transform into my retriever form. Normally, wear them jauntily upon my forehead in case I need to not pedal, but scoot along quickly at a moment's notice and don't want any bugs to get in my eyes. But if I need to transform, I can just pop those goggles on. My confidant is, of course, Elliot, the young boy who I spend an inordinate amount of time with. And my rival is the nefarious Francis Albert Lameau. And the less said of him, the better.
Excellent, excellent. And once again, to remind our listeners, we are playing the Sentai and Sensibility pre-written adventure, Royalty Rangers Autumnal Formal. I bit my tongue in that. We are where you are all alumnus. I believe we discussed. You were all alumnus of the school.
Sounds reasonable.
I think that's right, yeah.
And you are attending for the formal, and for people to win at the autumnal ball for the royalty court at the school, which is the period version of homecoming. And I'm not kidding. The person you are there to cheer on in the book is named Elliot. So your weird little guy is studying architecture at fancy college.
Oh, of course. As all weird little guys do.
As all weird little guys do. And he is in the running. Oh, Hopper has left. Goodbye, Hopper.
Is your weird little guy officially your ward or just a sidekick or...
I don't think it's any sort of official ward situation, but it's kind of ward adjacent.
He's just a weird little guy.
Yeah, in my head, he has now become the kid from Detective Conan, bow tie and all.
Nice.
Basically. So, yes, you guys are at your usual location, which is in the high tea parlor on the avenue. Because that's where all people in Victorian era, Regency era England go. The tea parlor for high tea.
Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And while you all, who are from three very different walks of life, being a rickshaw driver, a firefighter, and a professional cyclist, having your tea and supping upon the most delightful cucumber sandwiches, a sharp-dressed man in an all-black attire with a white bow tie and apron, a waistcoat apron, approaches your table. You will recognize this man as a gentleman only known as Mission Control. Your liaison to the Queen herself. He appears before you in the guise of a waiter. Good afternoon, gentlemen. May I take your order?
I say, could I have another round of these excellent cucumber sandwiches? It's dashed amazing how you managed to get all the flavor out of them.
Of course. This is Regency England, of course. There's no flavor in any food, despite numerous trade wars for spices. We here at this restaurant pride ourselves on making the food as bland and flavorless as possible, while claiming we invented the concept of tea.
Well, of course, the British Isles are famed for their ability to grow tea.
Yes. One more round of cucumber sandwiches for the table. Anything else?
Perhaps you might present us with the tally of the damages, good man.
Yes, of course. Here is your bill. And he places a handwritten note folded up on the table and departs to go get the sandwiches.
Yeah, we don't read it. We just have tea for another half hour.
As you open, no, you don't read. Okay, you just have tea.
We just stare at it.
Yeah, you're in England. You got to have tea for another 45 minutes before reading the bill.
Yeah.
So your tea comes, your sandwiches come. You didn't ask for more tea. He just brought it. You have that. You have a single chocolate bar to split between the three of you because that costs more than everything else combined. Because it's a rare and flavorful spice. Chocolate. Look it up. It was pricey at that time. You finally open your bill. Rangers. There is suspected foul play at the university. Attend the autumnal ball and find out who amongst the faculty and students is working with the nefarious organization X. Signed, Mission Control.
The Organization X is a dangerous mission.
It sounds very dangerous indeed. I heard they used to be an organization devoted to birding, but now...
Yes, well, they were taken over by an imbecile.
Yes, it was widely known that they used to be known as the National Ornithological Society before they simply became known as Organization X. They were... all of their facilities and photographs were full of birds of Twitter. Gonna go mark down. It has been 0 days since I've taken the piss out of that change. And yes, you guys find within there 3 tickets to the Brightwing Academy Autumnal Formal. As alumnus of the school, you are able to enter without much hassle. And the event is tonight. So put on your finest dapper wares and your definitely not out-of-place weaponry and enter Brightwing Academy's Autumnal Formal. And here we are at the school. Didn't just hard cut to that. Nope, there was definitely more stuff there.
There was a montage of getting dressed and being helped in dressing, and it took hours.
It took hours.
Yes.
There were so many different waist. You had to try on at least 4 different waistcoats to make sure it matched your petticoat and overcoat.
Making sure the brass chasing on my crossbow complements the cufflinks.
And of course, Arson being French, you had to make sure your beret was at the perfect 45-degree angle. And that alone took 3.5 hours.
That took him hours.
And then, of course, we had to load the velocipede into the rickshaw and then push the rickshaw into the fire engine.
And then pull the whole thing.
Yes, right. And then we all got in front of the fire engine and pulled it.
Yes, of course. And there was a valet there to check your fire wagon. Good evening, sirs. May I have your tickets, please?
Of course.
Thank you. Gentlemen,
Indeed.
you may now enter the Autumnal Formal. Please do enjoy yourselves before voting closes. After all, as alumnus, you are invited to vote for the formal royalty of the evening.
The smart money, I hear, is on this young fellow, Elliot. What an up-and-comer, wouldn't you say?
Oh, that's not what the rumor mill I'm sorry, that's the wrong voice. That's not what the rumor mill says, sir. The current favorite, according to gossip, is a gentleman by the name of Evan. His parents are generous donors, you see.
Evan? What kind of a name is Evan? Sounds like he's some sort of Mormon missionary from the colonies. No, we need a good British Elliot in there.
Well, I am simply hired help. I do not have any horse in this race. I simply gossip like the hens. Please enter. There are people waiting behind you.
Oh,
Yes, of course. God save the Queen.
God save the Queen, who's still alive.
yes, certainly the regent or, whatever.
Yeah.
Logistically, it's a bit weird. But the Queen, Her Majesty.
And as you guys walk off, he starts patriotically belting out Rule Britannia. I don't know the lyrics, and I'm not doing that, so we're going to keep moving.
Rule Britannia.
I can play it on the euphonium, but I can't sing it for piss.
Yeah, you get a couple verses
as we-
deep, too. It starts to get a little bit problematic.
So, welcome to the chamber. This is the correct term for that is a ballroom. I know how to use my words. I'm a professional sometimes. And so you may waltz or walk around the room. You may meet people. You may find Elliot. You may do whatever you wish. Who would like to start? Do you want to move as a group? Do you want to move independently? Ball's in your court.
I feel like splitting the party is like just the main thing that people do in RPGs, right?
I think so.
It's the one.
I think it's
a guaranteed
Yeah.
go-to foolproof move.
I think it's splitting the party and not checking for traps. Those are the those are the hallmarks of any good adventuring party.
Yes. You definitely want to make sure the two people who have a much harder time rolling on the etiquette table just wander off on their own.
Yes.
I think
I was going to say, I would like to look around the room and see if I can suss out this Evan character and see if I can find if there's like a clique or coterie or
Absolutely. Roll
some
me
such
an
that
etiquette
he's
check.
associated with. All right, I'm the Hussar. That is a D8.
Check for cool kids.
And you need a 2 or a
Yeah.
3.
Feeling good. Nope, that's a 5.
All right. Well, you don't see anyone in particular. You don't
Hello,
see any
fellow
specific
teens.
cliques or anything. You go over. Yep. How do you do, fellow teens?
So, how about this hipping hopping music that you folks are listening to these days?
Excuse me, old timer. We're not into
Yes?
that anymore. We're into trash music now. It's where we throw trash at street urchins and make laugh at them.
Well, that does sound like a properly British pursuit. I can't say I care for the name.
It's especially fun when we throw human waste at them instead of in the Thames.
Well, the good Lord above knows there's certainly plenty of that to go around this day and age in the big stink.
Absolutely. You understand, old timer.
Indeed, I hear that that this Evan fellow, he actually enjoys showing empathy to those less fortunate. What a benighted little sot.
Roll an etiquette check to persuade them that Elliot is sympathetic to the lower class.
No, Evan is.
I'm sorry,
Not Elliot.
Evan,
I'm sorry.
I want
I'm
him to
sorry.
vote
The names are right next to each other in the book. Roll the etiquette check to persuade them that you agree that they should think that Evan is sympathetic to the lower class.
There's a 2.
All right. You start
say
a
the poor ain't
gossip.
so bad?
You start gossip around these theater kids that Evan treats the poor like human beings.
With empathy and respect. Gross.
Kindness and respect, and not throwing human waste on them.
Oh, can you imagine?
how dare he?
It's like, oh, did you hear?
I feel half faint thinking
Evan
about it.
doesn't throw human feces at the poor. What? What does he do to pass the time? I don't know. Talks to them?
think,
Treats them with respect? Oh, perish the thought. And you just hear them gossiping as you have convinced 6 unnamed theater kids, that Evan cares about the poor. Our son, what are you doing?
I think Yeah, our son would also like to attempt to use his etiquette to possibly suss out Evan himself.
All right, roll me an etiquette check.
Well, I had a 50% chance of getting it, and I rolled a 1.
Oh,
So
you must
I also
invoke
did
your
not have
honor.
this kid. Oh, that's right. That was a 1 on a... Ugh.
Yes. So you must now invoke your
Remind
honor.
me again how we... Yeah. I remember the rules. from 2
absolutely.
years ago.
Fight a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our son, you have your observation skills were so poor just now. You walked directly onto the beverage table. You put your foot in a punch bowl. You're not even sure how you climbed up there with such great ease, but you have stepped into a punch bowl. I will ask that you make an etiquette check at disadvantage to salvage your reputation, lest you lose standing amongst the upper class.
So he looks down as he feels the wetness on his feet and goes, "Oh no!"
Or I'll let you roll
Let's
footwork
see.
to see if you can make it into a performance piece.
Well, I already rolled my 2 dice, and I got either way. That is not great because I got 2 more ones.
No. In the eyes of everyone, you have lost standing.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine he attempts to play it off by like trying to like do a tarantella in like he's trying to like dance in it like he's dancing in the rain and just immediately like falls over, slips, spills the punch bowl, it shatters, and he ends up on the ground. His beret falls off and just everyone
Even
is
the
staring at him.
mathletes are laughing at you. Even the mathletes.
And of course his beautiful maroon surcoat and white breeches are now stained with punch.
Several waitstaff do come and immediately begin cleaning up the shattered glass. And you do hear an old woman in the back going, "That was my great-grandmother's crystal! Oh!" And she faints,
As one does.
as one does.
It's a good sign when our etiquette specialist just wipes out.
Fails 3 etiquette rolls in a row. Critically fails 3 etiquette rolls in
That's
a row.
rough. You have a 25% chance to fail. That would have... So, yeah, no, that's like an 8% chance to roll that in succession. Incredible.
I just rolled these dice 4 more times and got 2, 2, 3,
Man,
4.
every other number you needed.
You're using up all the good rolls.
Yeah, I need to stop doing that when it's not.
And
an
lastly,
actual roll.
Pennington.
Well, Pennington, since we're on the lookout for the nefarious Organization X, I think Pennington is going to, kind of slip through the crowd, very nonchalant, looking out for the telltale blue checkmark embossed jewelry that members of the Ornithological Society used to wear, that many members of the nefarious Organization X paid to retain.
Roll me a footwork to see how well you move through the crowd, followed by an etiquette to see how well you perceive your surroundings.
All right, footwork first. That is a 3 on the D6.
Just enough to have successful footwork. You definitely move through the crowd like you're practiced at avoiding human contact at all costs.
Oh, of course. I wouldn't want to touch another person.
What if they're poor?
Oh, on my D6 for etiquette, I rolled a 4.
That is too high. You needed a 2 or a 3. You do not notice
that.
any blue check marks. The telltale sign of the former Ornithological Society members, now known as Organization X.
Drat. They're hiding much better than they were the last time.
However, you do spot, talking to some engineering students, your young friend Elliot.
We'll give him just the tiniest nod because he can't actually, show like outward affection or acknowledgement of someone, just the tiniest, like no lips kind of smile nod, and then begin walking over there through the sea of children. Ah, Elliot, hello.
Oh, Mr. Farthington. Hi. These are my friends, the engineers.
Ah,
They
hello,
all
young engineers.
They stare at you blankly and then go back to their hand abacus. As all engineers carry hand abacus in order to do calculations on the fly.
Doing some maths, are we? I do appreciate some good maths now and then.
They all look up at you silently and then walk away, unwilling to talk to a human being.
Cool. Tight.
What brings you here, mister? I thought you said there were too many people at formals, and that humans should be avoided at all costs.
Oh, humans are the worst, but one must keep up appearances. One must show out for one's friends and acquaintances, as it were.
I really appreciate that. That's why I had the engineers talk to them about designing an even bigger velocipede for you. This one will be 12 feet tall.
Oh, fantastic. My feet won't even touch the ground. It's brilliant.
It'll be so tall, you can enter from your second story of your house.
Imagine the velocity with a wheel so large.
Are you here on a secret mission?
That is, of course, strictly classified. Finger on the nose.
Oh, I'm so excited to be a part of this. Can I help? Oh no, I'm sorry, I can't help today. I gotta win the formal. I gotta be crowned royalty. I think I got enough votes.
And win you shall.
Yeah, I got enough votes, and Professor Hernadooney is on my side.
Hernadooney?
Yeah, Professor Hernadooney. The beloved English professor who loves games. She was on the events committee. She really likes me, and she hopes I win, because I'm a good student. Even though English is kind of boring. There's too many rules that don't make sense and then don't apply to half the words.
Oh, yes, you see, the thing about the English language, greatest language in the world that it is it took all of the best parts of all the other languages and made them all make sense together in perfectly orderly ways that everyone understands and are always internally consistent.
We had an exchange student from America for a few months, and he got in an argument because he said, and I quote, why are you all putting so many gosh dang yous in words? And the teacher went, that's the correct spelling, young man. Now sit down, you're interrupting my class again. And he said, heck no, and jumped out a window.
That sounds like an American.
I think he was from Texas. He said a lot of stuff about beef and clean burning fuel. And then the professor went, that fellow is not right. I would like to share.
We all went back to burning peat.
I would like to share an aside. My wife is listening in on my side of the recording, and hearing me over enunciate y'all, gave her psychic damage. Which it gave me psychic damage to pronounce, so I sympathize. And I almost got stuck saying y'all, and I think I would have had to leave the state of Texas. Just not live here anymore.
As a New Yorker, I can't hear a difference.
As a former Floridian who moved to Texas, I have the parts of both Florida man and Texas psychosis. So I will wrestle a steer instead of a gator, and then still kill, cook, and eat it.
And then it turns out that steer is actually your neighbor's cat.
Yeah. Well, you don't know that because Texas doesn't have sunshine laws like
That's
Florida
the Florida
does.
man coming through.
It'll just say domestic dispute in city. Whereas in Florida, it'll go, man cooked, killed, and ate neighbor's cat, thinking it was a cow. Mm-hmm. You've read about this in the foreign exchange papers at the local depository. the far-off deathland that is Florida and the United States of America. Oh, I'm sorry, no. They would still be referred to as the colonies at this point by the British.
Yeah. I also don't know if they own Florida yet during Regency. Is that still
1880s, I think? So, no, I think it had just come under U.S. jurisdiction.
It wouldn't be 1880.
No, 1820s.
Do you mean 1780s? Yeah.
When was the Reach? Reach here was 1811 to 1820. Oh, yeah, no, then they
Regency
did not have Florida or Texas yet.
Yeah. Yeah, because I want to say Florida, I think, was 1830s came into the U.S. I don't remember.
Yeah, Texas was definitely still part of Mexico.
It was just before the Civil War.
Yeah, Texas wasn't until the 1850s, but I want to say Florida, I think, was the 1830s, if I remember right. I should know this. I live here, but...
Florida was ceded to the U.S. by Spain in 1819.
Oh, wow, just in time.
Right on the board.
Right on the cusp.
Happening right now.
The land deal will be happening right now.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I mean, we also have an ornithological society run by a mysteriously wealthy African who renamed it the Organization X. Now, I believe that Cal was the only one to make a successful etiquette check.
Correct.
So, Cal, you are the only one who is successfully and reasonably moving around the ballroom. Mm-hmm. And you find that there are three main candidates for homecoming royalty. There is, of course, Elliot.
Okay.
Pennington's ward and your good friend. Mm-hmm. He's your good friend. Elliot is just that weird little guy that shows up sometimes. There is Evan, who his parents are a wealthy benefactor. He is studying law, so a lot of people think he's going to be a rich, successful lawyer. And, of course, there is... one second. PDF, please. Adobe products, please work. Here we go. And the last person running is the theater troupe lead at the school, Shorzy.
Oh, classy. A classic gentleman.
And you also have...
Cut from the finest of cloth.
And also you have heard that the captain of the rugby team, Jimothy, is very bitter and salty that he was not permitted to run for homecoming royalty. And he and the sports fans are abstaining from voting as rebellion for the unwillingness of faculty to permit a member of the sports ball team to run for royalty, as they are too barbaric and uncouth. And as you continue to mingle and smash, what's the word? Inherited crystal dishes, and not talk to human beings and touch them at any capacity, wishing you were on an 8-foot-tall velocipede so that you were towering above them and out of reach. You hear the clinking of glass as standing upon a dais overlooking the ballroom is Brightwing Academy's Dean Keaton. Played, of course, by Roger Moore.
Excellent.
And not Gabriel Byrne, who played Dean Keaton. Students, staff, alumnus, I welcome you to this year's Brightwing Academy Autumnal Formal. I thank you all for casting your votes, and for our gracious sponsors and donors who have given so much money to make this event happen. So much money. So those of you who have not yet donated money, donate money. And without further ado, let us begin counting and tallying the votes for this year's homecoming royalty. Light applause, light applause.
So the votes have already been cast. We have no chance to canvass.
Yes, the votes. Well, you did canvass. Remember, you convinced those
Flip 6 theater kids.
Yeah, you convinced those 6 theater kids,
No, yeah.
which are just called 6 theater kids.
That's the name of their theater troupe. There's 8 of them.
Yeah, there's 7 of them. It's Shorzy and the 6 theater kids. Unfortunately, they were all already going to vote for Shorzy, so you really didn't impact anything. But you did convince them that Evan likes the poor. And that is very important, because it's funny. Of course, our son had embarrassed himself in front of the mathletes, and Pennington had the most human interaction with the engineering students. And before anyone comes at me for being mean to engineers, I'm also an engineer. My wife's an engineer. I just like bullying engineers.
I can say, as an engineer myself, in fact, I can say that's a perfectly accurate characterization.
Yeah.
As a person who spent 2 years as an engineering student. Yep.
Aren't you a software engineer?
No, I'm in IT. We don't make anything. That's the slogan. Now leave us alone.
Profit Center? That's the other guys.
And a librarian.
Yeah.
One of the most important jobs in the world, I say.
Yeah. Actually helping society.
Yeah. We love a good librarian.
Technically acquisitions officer, but
Close enough.
close enough.
And so, Professor Hoonandani, what was her name again? Hernanduni. Professor Hootenanny Hernanduni. She's also from Texas. But like the cool part of Texas. I'm not going to say what part that is, but she's from the cool part of Texas.
Does she speak only Spanish, being from Mexican Texas?
Yeah, it is Mexican Texas at this point. Yeah, she speaks Tejano, which was a pidgin language for a time. And so, I'll take etiquette checks from everybody to survey the general vibes of the room.
3.
That's a success. A 2?
Yep.
Is that another 1? You have a 50% chance of success.
I rolled another one. Yes.
All right.
I realize that. I'm going to
I
switch
think
to
you should
different
switch-
D4s. I'm going to find some
Yeah, I
caltrips.
think you should switch to your caltrops.
I say, Penny, it seems that old boy Arson over there is baking quite a cake out of himself, wouldn't you agree?
Got a bit too deep into the punch, perhaps.
He's just angrily muttering in French under his breath in the corner as he still tries to clean the stain off his pants.
Well, you know, the
He's
Gallic
completely
soul.
not paying any attention to what's going on.
The Gallic soul counts no evening complete unless he has supped a bit too deeply of Nepenthe's draft.
And as you ponder the human condition, as we all do when waiting for a vote to be tallied, ponder the human condition. Out of the corner of your eyes, someone unfamiliar appears, wearing a mask. In the blink of an eye, they snatch the voting box and run out of the ballroom. The crowd murmurs of confusion, but you saw what happened and know what to do. It's time to follow this villain and restore the honor of the royalty vote. Rangers, it's time to henshin.
Oh, dang.
Describe your henshin. Pennington.
Well, Pennington reaches up and then, puts a hand on his goggles and then pauses, turns left to pick up the next camera, and then pulls the goggles down on his face and then, explodes in golden light, spins all around so you can only see the goggles and a golden form, and then reappears almost completely the same, except that his suit is now gold instead of the period-appropriate suit color. And he has a mask that, includes the goggles, but does not actually, interfere with the goggles in any way, and a tonfa in his hand doing some sort of appropriate martial pose.
And screaming.
Yes.
Cal, how do you henshin?
Cal sees what's going on, and he gets the jaunty angle of his bow tie and adjusts it to an even jauntier complementary angle. And then he spins around and around and around in place. And then there's like a puff of dust around him. And then he when the dust clears, he does another quarter turn to stop spinning, and he's standing in the traces of his rickshaw. in his resplendent carmine suit and mask, and he reaches under the tails of his red dinner jacket and pulls out his trusty crossbow, and he's ready to go.
And lastly, after finally draining all of the punch out of your beret, our son, how do you henshin?
He pulls on his this like ostentatious jeweled gauntlet and says, "Allumere, brûlere," and snaps his fingers, and a spark comes up, and the spark appears to just light him on fire. And as the fire clears, he is standing there wearing like a World War I style greatcoat, because that's the closest thing I can think of to like a period-appropriate firefighter outfit, despite the fact that it's 100 years out of date, as well as like a leather helmet and a what looks like a very crude gas mask over his face, and he has a musket on his back.
Fantastic. You have all henshin. You are ready to chase the villain that two of you saw and recognized as, in fact, a blue-checked member of Organization X, known only as his username on the opinion articles, Mr. Dance Pants!
Oh, God.
You must now chase Mr. Dance Pants to recover the voting box. To do that, I need footwork checks. It's blurred because I have blur on. I'm going to unblur it now. So that even though no one else can see me dramatically hold up the rule cards, but footwork checks.
Well, roll a D100 to overcome blur, and that's only a 15. So
Yeah, it's still blurry for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sam. It's my camera's still blurry for you. For everyone else, it's fine. All right, so I need footwork checks from each of you to chase Mr. Dance Pants.
Well, I finally didn't roll a 1, but however, once again, I had a 50% chance at this.
You did not roll a 2.
And I rolled a 2.
Buddy!
So, and this was on a different die. This was on a caltrop this time, and it's still not working, so...
Buddy!
Clearly your cucumber sandwiches were too vigorously peppered.
Yeah.
All right.
Trust a Frenchman to eat something with flavor and give him the vapors at an inopportune moment.
Yeah, you're coming dangerously close to getting the vapors. Mm-hmm. All right. Cal, I need a footwork check.
That would be a 5.
A successful footwork check. And of course, son, you failed. Pennington, your footwork check.
Also a 5.
A success. You two successfully follow. However, you did not succeed at enough footwork checks to catch up to him before he was able to spring a trap as his dancers appear.
Oh man, we forgot to check for traps.
You forgot to check for traps. I warned you. I warned you at the beginning to check for
One of the
traps.
classic wonders.
I did. And you didn't check for traps, and you didn't split the party. So you know what? You all get a favor. You can turn that in for advantage later, whenever you need it to. Jero.
Yep. I'm marking down Queen's favor 1.
And so, you have chased him successfully to the rugby pitch, where you see Mr. Dance Pants and his dancers are dancing an Irish jig to tear up the pitch and ruin the field before the exhibition match tomorrow. You need to put a stop to it now. It's time to fight. And in combat, it's kind of like the Power by the Apocalypse system where you guys just decide when to go. There's no real initiative ready. However, because you did not make enough successful footwork checks, Mr. Dance Pants was quick on his feet, and he always goes first. So he's going to scoop up a big old lump of sod and throw it right at Pennington's face. How do you wish to avoid or tank or block this damage? Because you got to pick what skill you use for this.
Well, I think that under the circumstances, I would like to slap the sod out of the air with my trusty tonfa.
That will be a dueling check.
All right, I can do that.
That should be a 50% chance for you as the D8 class.
How's a 1 sound?
Ooh, buddy. You want to turn in your favor early?
Yeah, I feel like there might be time.
All right, roll again.
What?
I'll use that favor, and I got a 3, so I did not succeed.
But you did not.
wasn't-
You did not besmirch your honor, at least. So a clump of sod hits you right in the mouth, and it's even though you're wearing a mask, you can still taste the lead paint that was used to paint the pitch as it leaches into your skin. So you're going to take
absolutely
1
dreadful.
point of damage.
Slightly sweet.
So how does the honor? What triggers the honor?
Natural ones.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just it's a natural one. Then you get to invoke your honor and try a dramatic action with events of my choosing. So you have taken some leaden painted sod straight to the kisser. Do you wish to respond?
Oh, I think so.
All right. How do you respond?
Shout out, you clod! You would throw sod! And then charge at Mr. Dancy Pants.
All right. I'm going to
Swinging,
say because
of
you're
course, a weapon.
charging. Give me a footwork check to have a proper dramatic charge after they've begun ruining the pitch and it's covered in holes.
Well, this is a bit more in my ballywick, I'd say. Ah ha ha! 4.
All right. With deft practice, like someone who uses a velocipede and a bicycle regularly would have great dexterity, you weave around and through the sod, and you smack Mr. Dance Pants right in the face with a tonfa. As one does.
Sometimes you got it.
Well, you just gotta hit a guy with a tonfa. Unfortunately, it's now the dancer's turn. And instead of attacking you, they're gonna begin performing a square dancing routine to ruin the pitch. As they begin carousing and singing a song and dancing, and you see they begin stamping it, do uneven and making the earth uneven. Cal, do you wish to try and stop them from ruining the pitch further and losing even more standing with the sports balls fans?
Yes, of course. We can't allow this oafish colonial clod hopping to persist. And Cal is going to... Let's see. So is Mr. Dance Pants also dancing? Like, is he directing things, or is it just the dancers? Just the squad?
The dancers are squad. There's 3 dancers. They're squatted up, and they're doing an Irish jig, square dancing across the pitch to just like they're stamping their feet and ripping out terrain as they do it. Backflipping
okay,
and just tearing it out with their hands. And Mr. Dance Pants was dancing, but he recently just got struck in the face with a tonfa, so he might be a little
Got
stunned.
it. I'm going to take aim at one of the dancers as soon as they do a do-si-do. When they are on the sea of their do-si-do.
All right,
I'm gonna,
they begin do-si-doing.
Pin their foot to the ground with my crossbow.
All right, roll
so
me
that they
dueling.
There we go. Nope, not a D7, D8. That'd be a 6.
A successful dueling strike as you fire your crossbow and pin their feet during the do-si-do. Taking out 2 of them simultaneously because they only have 1 hit point. As the third one looks at you and just starts scrambling away.
Looks like I've left you, Virginia, reeling. Haha.
And lastly, finally catching up to the rest of you is Arsène Lupin.
Arsène is... You know what? He's gonna... I've been rolling terribly anyway. Let's fish for that 25% chance. He is going to unlimber his musket and try to fire a parting shot at the last dancer there, which would be dueling, and I can only get this on a 4 because my dice only go that high. That is a 2, so that is another fail.
Queen's favor.
Your shot goes wide. Oh yeah, do you wish the Queen's favor or?
Oh wait, actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll waste it on this one.
All right.
I'm grabbing a new die again.
One of the D4s has to be good.
Here we go. Yeah, one's a Norse Foundry one, so hopefully it'll work better. Hey, that's a 4.
Hey, you successfully hit.
That is actually a hit.
Describe your kill, because you have a gun and you shot a guy.
So yeah, pulls out his, as everyone else is like honorably dueling, he finally runs onto the pitch, completely out of breath, kneels down, pulls his musket off his back, takes aim, and fires. And I'm assuming it's like a wheel lock or something, so he doesn't have to light it, and fires and just blasts a hole like the size of a grapefruit through the last dancer.
And he collapses on the ground, his blood mixing with the sod. And we are
Just kill a guy.
Jesus Christ!
holy sh! You just killed that guy,
Oh, justice prevails.
dude. Like, he had a family.
The day is saved.
And Mr. Dance Pants is gonna use his interpretive dancing to demoralize all of you to give you all disadvantage. I need a vigor or etiquette check to withstand his haranguing interpretive dancing.
Using this metal one again, because that actually worked. Hey, that's a 2.
All right, you've succeeded on your etiquette check.
That's a 4. Fails either.
Roll. Let's call it vigor this time. No, 1.
Oh, Pennington, not only are you completely demoralized, you are so demoralized you were unable to act next round.
I think I'm a little bit shocked by just watching my friend straight up murder a guy.
Yeah, you're currently in shock at your friend murdering a guy in cold blood.
My face is all muddy. I don't know what's going on.
You can't see. There's sod on your goggles.
Yeah.
You heard an explosion.
Arson wasn't demoralized because he was looking down as he was reloading his musket, so he missed the dance.
Yes, you have missed the interpretive dance. And it is your turn again.
Oh, well, I would say then he is going to point the musket at, was it Dancy Pants?
Mr. Dance Pants.
Mr. Dance Pants. Couldn't remember if it was Dance or Dancy. He points the musket at Mr. Dance Pants and says, I think you should maybe stop what you're doing. And would that be like an etiquette roll to intimidate him?
Yes, it would.
Right. Stick with the die that's actually rolling good numbers. But that is a 1.
He is emboldened by your threat and will gain extra damage on his next attack as he is incensed at your insults to his behavior. And also because you're French. And the mere act of being French in Regency England is enough to drive anyone into a blind rage. Cal, your turn.
I'm going to try to knock the ballot box out from under his arm with another well-placed crossbow bolt.
I will permit dueling or footwork for this, as you are aiming with deftness.
I think, but I am at disadvantage because I failed the last roll, right?
Yes.
Okay. What's the roll of... I'll just do it twice.
It's 2 and then the pound sign.
Gotcha.
Well,
that is a 3.
That is a 3 and a 3.
Yes, which honor compels me to confess that I was thinking of dueling for this, so that is a fail.
That is a fail, unfortunately, for dueling, as your crossbow, while well shot, instead just embeds itself fully in the box, possibly skewering a few votes and making them unreadable. Possibly nothing happened to them, and it just got shot. And it is now once again Mr. Dance Pants' turn, and he's gonna start running. He's like, you kill a guy, you're shooting me with a crossbow, I'm out of here. So I believe it might be time for you guys to combine your weapons for your, what was the fancy gun called? Steve. It might be time for Steve to appear.
No, it is not called Steve. It is called...
No, that's right. Your Machina was Steve.
The biblically one true Steve, who is called
No, that's
Sam.
your Machina.
That's the giant Machina.
Yeah, your
Oh,
combination
yeah.
gun is just Steve. That's right.
That's right. Oh, yeah, Steve is the...
All right,
yeah.
so I gave you guys... we discussed it last time, what your finisher's attack name was as well. The gun is named Steve. As you put
Steve Stream.
a musket, mount a crossbow on top of a musket, and then stick a tonfa on top of that to create a cannon. The tonfa opens up to reveal a scope.
Honestly, I imagine we stuffed the tonfa down the musket.
Even better, the tonfa has been stuffed down the musket, and the crossbow's just there for support, like a bazooka.
Which causes the whole thing to burst into flames. Because I believe it's a flamethrower, isn't it?
It is a flamethrower, yes. It is a fires a flaming tonfa. All right, who would like to roll dueling to shoot Steve?
I think that has to be Cal.
All right.
Yeah, I only have a 25% chance. Of
Cal is our
getting
best duelist.
I will permit you advantage
D8
on
for
this
me.
because it is the combination attack.
Okay. So that's a 2d8. Sorry.
Yeah, 2d8 and take the better.
No. I mean the command.
2 off the Thorpe 8.
Got
Or
it.
d8, rather. Like that.
Got it. That's a 6.
That is a successful
which is a
hit.
Success.
So you fire Steve, and this tonfa launches out, bursts into flames, and impales Mr. Dance Pants, causing him to explode in fireworks as you guys strike a team pose while still holding
yes.
this gun.
We all turn our backs to it.
Yeah, you all
Looking
turn your
super cool.
And as he falls, its explosion occurs, and you all are slightly to the left. Definitely was not a split cut so that they could replace the actor with an explosive.
And the ballot box just comes and lands right in front of us.
It lands directly in your outstretched hands. And you have
Seems the old chap came down with a fatal case of Saturday night fever.
and you have successfully prevented the pitch from being ruined and recovered the ballot box. Win jingle. But there's more, because you have recovered it. But the ball is still going on. As the three heroes return to the ballroom, no longer in their civilian guises as Regency era gentlefolk, but as proud, famous heroes. After all, who hasn't heard of Her Majesty's Royal Retrievers?
As we are headed back to the ballroom, I know that we represent truth, honor, and good, but sometimes there's a higher honor, a higher purpose, and maybe we might take a look inside the ballot box and throw away all the ones for Evan.
We might have to
On our way
steal
back
some
in.
ballots, being thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Yeah, as you're discussing this, our son is already burning several ballots with Evan.
as you guys open up the ballot box to begin rigging the election, you hear a throaty caw as a man-sized vulture swoops down and steals the ballot box. That's right, it's Mr. Twitter himself. General X.
Goodness me.
As he flies,
That was quite unexpected.
as he begins flying away, what do you do?
We can't let some buffoonish industrialist make off with the precious ballots. Who knows, he might even try and change the outcome.
Surely he would never do such a terrible thing.
I believe that it is possibly time for us to unite our transportationally themed essences into one larger unit.
All right. As you begin the Gatai sequence, explain how your rickshaw, fire wagon, and bicycle. Wait, bicycle or velocipede? We said both a bunch.
In the rules, it is a bicycle. I believe, though, it is a velocipede per
Per your wife.
Wikipedia. And yeah, per my wife getting mad at me for saying that there was a bicycle in Regency era England.
All right, so we will call it a velocipede. Yeah. All right. As I believe you described it as, first you attach the rickshaw to the velocipede, which then bicycles around the fire wagon until everything catches fire and forms a biblically accurate angel that creates a body made out of fire that was biblically accurate Steve. No.
Yeah, I believe the body is like 3 concentric rings, and then the arms and legs are made of fire, if I'm not mistaken, and then the head is like a glass bubble that we're all in that doesn't really have anywhere good to sit.
Yeah, we're all inside and we're like
And you're
pedaling.
definitely not photoshopped and CG'd, green screened into a command center within this robot. You're totally inside the Colossus. Not at all just a green screen on top of an orb. As you are inside, you are now piloting the biblically accurate one true Steve who's called Sam against an perfectly normal man-sized vulture.
And what's weird is, while it was in the late evening on a rugby pitch when we started this transformation, The transformation process looked exactly the same as it was when we were in the desert and on the beach and in a forest.
Yeah.
And indeed, you are now fighting in the most sacred arena of all Colossus battles, known colloquially as the Gravel Pit of Dreams.
Just a vast expanse with nothing else around somehow.
Quick aside, you actually can go to that mountain in Japan where they filmed that, and they will let you do the pose and fire off explosions behind you. You can pay for that experience.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like
That
an
would
hour
be-
outside of Tokyo. You can just take a train, you can just take a bus there and pay for them to just let you do Sentai shenanigans and have explosions behind you.
Though I imagine since we're in Regency England, rather than the random abandoned quarry that's used in all the Super Sentai show, it's the random abandoned quarry that's used in all the Doctor
Yeah,
Who
no,
shows.
you know where you're actually at the abandoned factory that's in the other place in Super Sentai, because you're in Regency England. You're at an old mackerel canning factory down by the wharf. But there's also like 6 different Japanese guys working at the wharf that we just kind of don't acknowledge as being in the shot, and we quick hard cut away from them as you are in a Colossus chasing after this vulture. And on this chase, you find out, you go, and as the vulture flies into the factory, I'll take an etiquette roll real quick.
All of
Etiquette
us.
specialist.
Anyone?
Yep, I will roll etiquette. Let's try this die.
Arson, you've had.
That is a 2.
That's a success.
Hey!
You see
You
that the
did it.
factory that you have chased General X to is in fact called Keaton's Mackerel Canning Factory.
By gum.
And standing on the roof is in fact Dean Keaton, holding
I knew it.
a fistful of ballots that all say Evan's name on them. You fools! You've ruined my plan to extract more money from his parents!
You scoundrel!
Now how will I commit bureaucratic corruption and theft? If I can't embezzle those funds, I'll have to kill you! And he throws the ballots into the air, and they create a giant blue X that flies over to the vulture and turns him Colossus-sized as we enter the Colossus battle phase. The vulture will begin its attack by hurling feathers that are definitely not on strings and thrown off screen at you. Who would like to make a roll to dodge, block, or evade? As you all pilot
think,
this, and you can all just kind of split the rolls.
I've got.
Oh god. What is
Well, that's footwork should be pretty.
Yeah, I got a 50% chance of getting
I
footwork.
think footwork is. I think I have a 67% chance on footwork because 6 is a crit and then 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, cause, yeah, if you're
Yeah.
the D6, you're probably the best one for footwork.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think I'll roll footwork. The dodge, and it went to the part that I can't see. I'm glad that I volunteered to roll this because it is a 1.
Oh no. You are hit by these feathers, and even though you're currently already on fire as a biblically accurate Steve, sparks still shoot out of your body as you're struck by these perfectly ordinary feathers.
It's different sparks.
And you stumble backwards, flailing your arms. And unlike in other scenes, your hands are kind of small, but you have fingers instead of being molded fists.
And of course, inside the bubble, which has no noticeable mechanical features, there's still like machines exploding and sparks flying everywhere. As
And
we're
you're
jostling
shaking, very, very Star Trek style.
Yeah, we all throw ourselves to the right and to the left.
I was gonna say, like, there's like, yeah, we all throw ourselves in different directions.
Different directions with no sense of consistency with how vigorous you're tossed around. And it's your guys' turn to strike back at the Vulture General X.
Let's give him a bit of a stiff upper lip.
All right, you go for the uppercut. Who's rolling dueling?
For that one, I have the best shot at that.
D8, right? Yeah.
And there's a 2.
Oh. You go to strike with your big fiery fist, but as you're trying to punch a bird, it just flies out of reach. And that's why fighting is resisted by flying types in Pokemon. Because if you've never tried to punch a bird, boy, is it hard.
Yeah. This feels oddly familiar.
We've got a whole episode about punching birds.
We sell merch about punching birds.
It's almost
But,
like I picked some stuff based around your show.
But it feels like we have jumped straight to fighting the richest man in the world, and we're not doing well.
No, and in fact, from off screen, he outstretches his arms and unfurls his wings and flies at you in a straight line. Something that can be easily CG'd over, chroma keyed over another action. How do you respond to this bird dive bomb as he flies down yelling, "Stock tank bomber!"
Would someone else like to dodge this one? I did very poorly last time.
I can try for it. I've got
You
a
only advertise on Blue Sky, right?
decent chance.
Yeah.
I just rolled a 1 again.
Oh my god. Your biblically accurate Steve shakes and rattles and flails again, and now you're on the ground and smoldering.
I'm gonna have to do the math at the end of this.
And also a mountain in the background has caught fire. There are no mountains in England. Where did this mountain come from? But it's there. Somehow, despite being at a factory by the wharf, a mountain has caught fire. How do you respond to this bizarre occurrence as the Vulture, General X, has knocked your Colossus to the ground?
Well, I think invigorated by the mountain being on fire, since we are firemen in addition to thieves and rangers, I think we have to do like a weird robot kip up and grab a chunk of fiery mountain and throw it at the bird.
Obviously.
So you could just grab chunks of mountains, right?
I'll take footwork for that.
And for some reason in this scene, we're like 3 times taller than we were in the previous one and we're able to easily
It's
grab the
just
mountain.
slightly off screen to the left of you.
Hey, a 5.
You did it. So, definitely not reversing the footage, so you stand right back up at the exact same arc you fell down on. You stand up and grab a chunk of the mountain and hurl it at the Vulture, who gets struck and is forced to land in a perfectly normal, safe landing, even though you just hit it with a flaming rock.
Is the name of this attack the missing 5 commandments?
Well, it's your attack. That's what it is now.
It's also the reason that England doesn't have any mountains. There was one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Threw it at a billionaire industrialist.
Okay, come on now. Millionaire at this point. Billionaires were an outrageous thought in Regency era. Only the crown could have billions. It is now.
For that one
Yeah, that one
Roman
Roman
dude.
dude. It is now the Vulture's turn, and he will open his mouth, and a stream of obscenities pour out in a sonic scream of a word salad blaster. Obviously, in order to avoid breaking terms of service on any site this gets posted on, I will not say the words that are said. But just know that they are obscene and inappropriate for people to say. I will take a vigor check to resist this sonic blast.
I think that's got to be
All
Cal.
right, here we go.
Cal? Yeah, Cal. 5 to 9.
7.
You withstand the sonic blast, still doing that same exact stagger that when you were getting hit, but instead, you're standing up still and not taking any damage. Alright, it's your turn, guys. Make it count.
Let's wash this foul bird's mouth out with some soap. And by soap, I mean fists. Dueling, I think.
Yeah. They'll be dueling.
That is a 3.
Not enough, as he once again takes to the skies to dive bomb you like his stock prices.
Has Cal used his Queen's favor?
No, he has
No.
not used his Queen's favor.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're the only one of us that has.
The only one who didn't fail immediately and use it on the first roll.
Well, I didn't know how we were gonna handle vapors, catching the vapors. I guess we can't do it while we're in a Colossus,
we're past
right?
the vapors phase because you can't catch the vapors in the Colossus.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured we weren't counting the failures when we're in here because since it's all 3 of us rolling, like it would be
Yeah,
a mess.
it's just a mess, and yeah. Vapors also only matter basically before the Colossus or the Deus Ex phase, because without all 3 of you combined, you can't form your Colossus. So the vapors are not really an issue anymore.
Okay. Well, in that case, on our next, because you have to use your favor before the roll, right?
No,
Oh, well then. I'm going to give it another shot.
All right, 4 or higher.
Come on, 8.
Well, with a favor, it's advantage, so it's still just a regular miss.
Okay.
Even if you're on your 1, you don't get hero because favors lets you use advantage.
Got it.
And as he takes to the skies, somehow you hear Rangers, and you see Elliot with the engineering students. Take this, and he throws a notebook that somehow goes all like 200 feet into the air and lands in your cockpit. And in the notebook is a diagram for how to create a kick-ass sword to kill the vulture.
This is just what we need.
And it's even listed as kick-ass sword to kill the vulture.
By God, this seems like it's so fortuitous that you've been working on such a plan. One would have thought a design like this would be mind-bogglingly specific in circumstance, but here it is. We need it.
They're engineers. They were smart, and with it being me being an architect means I can design anything on the speed drop of a pat. Because that's how this works. We have to fit it into a 22-minute episode, even though I'm talking to you at normal volume when you're 2,000 feet away from me.
Oh God, an engineer is it an architect? Is it too late to switch sides?
An architect and 3 engineers walk into the fight scene. And so I'll take a vigor roll to call down from the heavens the kick-ass sword to kill the vulture.
Who's our most vigorous?
I think that's going to be you.
I think it's
Alrighty.
you, yeah.
5 or better.
You've been rolling so well.
I actually can't do a vigor roll.
No, not quite.
Not quite. You reach out your mech's hand that has shrunken and is now able to open and close, but it doesn't appear. Perhaps you did not strike the correct stylish pose to summon the kick-ass sword to kill the vulture, as he dives in for what he considers his final attack. Banishment punch! Get blocked, idiots! And he goes to deliver a final blow. What do you wish to do to avoid this devastating strike against your Colossus?
Now, it would probably be way less smart than doing footwork, but it would be very cool and cinematic if we did dueling and went to like punch back and meet the punch with the punch.
A counter punch.
Yes.
Here, I was thinking you were just going to say mean things to him. But yeah, trying to block his punch with another punch sounds good.
All right, who's rolling me dueling?
All right, let's see if I can redeem
I
myself.
think that would have to. Oh, yeah.
Come on, get that hero! Get that hero! Hero!
Yes.
You go to meet his punch with your punch, but instead, the kick-ass sword to kill the vulture launches down from the heavens, and as you arc back, it floats gently into your hand like it's on wires, and you grab it. And as the vulture comes in for that punch, and it does a cool cinematic where he flies right into the camera, you bring the kick-ass sword to kill the vulture down, and a dramatic karate chop overhand swing, and slice him in half from fist to face. And as both halves fly behind you and land in the wharf, you sheathe the sword with a sheath that didn't exist prior to this scene. An explosion occurs in the water behind you, and you have slain the vulture.
The Stevening Retrievening wins again.
And you have successfully retrieved the ballot box. However, Dean Keaton has vanished after growing the creature. Where this mysterious man has gone, and who is he really? Is he in fact the Dean of Brightwing Academy? Or perhaps an even more nefarious real estate baron pulling the strings? That is to be decided at a later time. But for now, Her Majesty's Royal Retrievers have, in fact, saved the day, even though it was night, but it's day now. And the ball...
It's not back to night now.
It's back to night now. It's back to night now. As you guys exit your Colossus and it's nighttime, you're back at the school. We did not have a scene where we left the wharf, but you're back at the ball, triumphantly holding the ballot box.
Looks like that dirty bird's goose is cooked.
Everyone laughs, and we montage to Elliot being crowned homecoming king, and Shorzy being homecoming queen, and then the sports ball guys all beat up Evan for liking the poor.
And everyone lives happily ever after.
Except Evan, who is now a social pariah.
As it should be.
And as we zoom out on this fun, mirth-filled evening at the ball, we zoom back in to the headquarters of Organization X. Another nondescript factory at a different angle so it looks different from the previous factory. And a man sitting in a chair, but you can only see one miniature hand. Next time, Rangers. Next time. As next time, the Rangers take on baby hands. Again, super big shout out to Ninth Level Games who made this system. Shout out to Super Sentai and Tokusatsu as a whole. Also, fun fact: the creator of Super Sentai and Kamen Rider is the same guy who created Cyborg 009, which I believe, Jero, you're a big fan of. So just in case you were wondering why they all dress in bright colors and do a lot of poses.
A fan of both versions of that. There was a remake that was also very good.
A lot of remakes that were really good. Even the Netflix one was pretty good. It was kind of like a weird pseudo sequel to the 2003 series. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, Sam. Recording started.
Here.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yep. I'm going to boost my gain because I need to sit back a little bit so that Hopper...
Waveforms. Waveforms.
And Hopper is joining us because he won't stop crying if he's not on my lap or in my hands. Hopper, can you speak?
Present.
Can you talk into the microphone?
He says no.
He did, but he made tiny baby whimpering noises, so it wasn't picked up. Boop. Although I did actually forget to go grab a play card so that I knew what the skills were. 1 second. I'm a professional.
Boop. Sex out of wedlock.
Boop. And that's it. You guys did it. You saved the Formal, and you helped Elliot become popular. What'd you guys?
And we killed a guy.
And you killed a guy. The groundskeeper has to clean that up now.
We ended the life of another human.
He was just he was just a ballet dancer. Yeah. You just made an orphan out of his children.
He is.
Somewhere on the rugby pitch, there's he's like dragging himself off to the side. He's like, I think I might actually make it. And then a chunk of like bird wing like comes sailing out of the sky, just decapitates him.
And we see Detective Dupin investigating the case.
He's got his mic spyglass look at his. There's royalty rangers. They have committed murder yet again. I swear on my badge and my love of my country, France, that I will catch them. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah,
that rugby. It's a dangerous game. I don't know where that voice came from.
Who was that?
Who was that? It was not Pennington.
No, it was not.
That's just a random passer.
It's just a guy. It's the groundskeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adventure.
Like Ian McShane as the groundskeeper, just in a cameo.
And starring Michael Keaton as Dean Keaton.
Nice.
How many more terrible jokes can we fit into this episode before we decide to call it?
I was trying to find an Alex P. Keaton / Michael J. Fox joke to make, but I never got there.
Well, maybe we'll find one when we go Back to the Future.
I was trying to find another Usual Suspects joke to make. I couldn't think of that either.
The good is good, the evil is evil, and you got to punch an oligarch in the mouth and then cut him into pieces with a cool sword.
Mm-hmm. That is wish fulfillment, very top of my wish fulfillment list right now.
Yeah. No, that was very cathartic. Boop.
Sam, I look forward to seeing how you manage to cut this to a 22-minute runtime.
Exactly 22 minutes, weirdly, with 48 minutes of outtakes.
We'll call it a special. We'll call it an hour-long special.